Just first of all, that a country can't be Buddhist, a country cannot be Muslim or Christian, only people can. So really it doesn't make any sense to me. I remember when in Thailand they were changing their constitution, because Thailand was a Buddhist country in their constitution, but they changed it. They asked me about this, and at least I came up on that a country hasn't got a religion. People have a religion, not a country. So a person is a Buddhist, but not a country. And if you don't understand that, you can create a huge amount of problems in our world. You already know that there's countries which are Muslim, there's countries which are Christian, there's countries which are Hindu, and that creates huge amounts of problems. So why not just say that a country follows Buddhist principles? Yeah, that's okay, but not they're Buddhist. And Buddhist principles are tolerance for everybody and kind for everybody. There are wars going on right now. And wars have been going on since history began. There's a recent war in Sri Lanka that you can't sort of turn the clock back and stop that war. So what I would always say is that every time we look back and we get a heap of pain about what happened. And it doesn't help anybody looking back. I know that some people say we need to have justice. But look, justice, what do you mean by justice? Justice for many people means revenge. Justice, if you're sort of a Hindu or a Catholic, Prabhupada was a Catholic, he's the head of the Tamil Tigers. It doesn't matter what religion you are, those religions, we all believe that justice will come anyway. If you're a Hindu, the justice will be done by karma, just like in Buddhism. If you're a Christian, a Muslim, a Jew, that karma, that justice will be done by a God. So justice will happen anyway. You do not need to be concerned with justice. Let nature look after justice. In other words, revenge. So our job is, look, here we are, how can we move forward? And just spending time on human rights abuse. This is the end of a big war. Now, many people argue with me about this, but in the case of Sri Lanka, they should drop all of the memories of that past and just learn to live together. And to have all the strategies, all the resources, instead of just thinking over the past, that does not help. Forgive the past, let nature look after justice, and let's make sure that this never happens again. Forgiveness means let that past go. Strategies is what we should be focusing on, so that this never ever happens again. The two communities in one country could distrust each other so much they take up arms. Because violence is often sort of the last resort of the terminally frustrated. They've usually tried many other channels, and now they don't work, and then they sort of turn to violence. You can't condone it, but you can actually understand where a lot of it comes from. So let's make sure that we have a political process, we have a process where people can actually show their complaints and their grievances and let them be heard. For punishing others, if you really want to, have a Truth and Reconciliation Commission in Sri Lanka, so where people can confess if they've done any human rights abuses, but with amnesty. Otherwise they will never confess. Why would you confess what you did if you realise you're going to go to jail for that? So all those crimes will be hidden, will die with the perpetrators. If it was amnesty, they would be honest. It would be in their interest to be honest. And the country will get a benefit from that honesty, but not with punishment. If an amnesty is given, then you can have truth and reconciliation, and you can move forward. But not with crimes, war crimes, human rights crimes, where there's punishments afterwards. You can actually see that in one sense that's good. You have the idea of justice, but in another sense it just will put the problem deeper and deeper and deeper, and we'll never go forward. Forgiveness is Buddhist. It's one of the few religions, if the only one religion, which are allowed to forgive anything. And let karma, let nature look after the punishment. Our job is to forgive, but to make strategies so it never ever happens again. or the likelihood it happens again is less. Look what happened in Europe, the Second World War. One of the strategies they did have as a result of two devastating world wars is to form the European Union. So now the idea of like France and England and Germany going to war again is just ridiculous. It's just totally beyond possibilities. Why? Because they have a political union, meet together, talk together, and culturally they just have much more connections to each other. So wouldn't it be wonderful if there could be like a South Asian union? Sri Lanka, India, Bangladesh, Pakistan. Wouldn't it be wonderful if they could have these unions where people could have some economic and political connection? And it gets much harder to go to war with each other. So there's lots and lots of things we can do. You know, whenever you travel, I looked out the window of the aircraft. When I go from one country to the other, you've done that, and it's been a clear day, you've looked down, you can see the great land masses. I know if you look on a map, you've got these lines between countries. I've looked out the window, I've never seen those lines on the ground. But it's those lines which create the wars. They're not there in real life. So anyway, that's a possibility. You know. That's me getting into politics. And again, as I said last night, these are things I don't know anything about. So often actually I give my opinion on things I don't know anything about.